Maseches Shabbos, Daf Kuf Zayin Amud Beis in the very, very bottom of the page. We spoke in the previous Gemara. We spoke about toilish, all types of disconnecting on Shabbos, where the disconnection is not direct. Meaning, we have a baby, an unborn baby, an animal, which is an embryo, unborn baby in the mother's womb. If the person kills it, it's chayv because of chita, neutral neshama, even though it's not, even though the baby doesn't have its own life. The baby depends on the mother, and we still say it's called killing, even though the baby doesn't breathe or eat by himself. Maybe it's not killing, it's not a living being, the mashmalan it is. And we know that from the case of the parasite, the kind of humlun, the kshuta, which is basically latching onto a koitz, to some kind of thorns. It doesn't live directly off the ground like a normal tzemach, like a normal plant. And yet, although it's a parasite of something else, if I cut it off the koitzim, it's considered a toilish. Yeah, so whatever it may be, even indirect is considered a melocha. Yeah, because for him, that's normal. Amar Abaye, on the same venue, on the same idea, Hayman de Tolish Pitra Meuna de Chatzva. Yeah, a person basically is toilish, is taking something, a pitria, is taking a, what you call it, a fungi. Pitria is like the moss, not the moss, it's the mold. The mold, sometimes you have real pitriot, you have mamish like all kinds of mushrooms or things that are similar to mushrooms. Me'una de chatzva, from the corner, from the side of the chatzva of the una is the oizen, the side of the bucket full of water. I guess the water has been there for a long time. He developed fungi, and now that's a big chiddush. Yechayev on the fungus because of koitzel. It's considered as koitzel, right? Because you took it from its place of livelihood. Why is it so surprising? There are a few reasons. One reason, the Gemara asks, what's going on here? We learned in Daf Tadihei, Atoilesh me'atzitz nokuv chayev v'shein nokuv potu. Remember atzitz nokuv? When it was a Friday Gemara. Atoilesh me'atzitz nokuv. Person disconnects, basically picks, let's say, I don't know, cherry tomato. You have cherry tomatoes that grow in otzitz nokuv. Yeah, the otzitz, the plant, yeah, the flower pot, otzitz has a hole in it, a hole the size of a shoirish, the size of a small root, because we always learn about it in Shemitah, that really eats from the ground, it nourishes from the ground indirectly. It's considered as if it's on the ground and you chayiv. In other words, because that cherry tomato you picked from the otzitz with the hole is facing the ground, and some the Chazon Ish proved it scientifically. They saw some wetness somewhere in Bnei Brak, that the place where the otzitz was against the ground, it was wet. The same place, I don't remember exactly. It was something that showed that it's true in real life. And therefore, when you pick that tomato from the otzitz, which is perforated, which has a hole, it's as if you took it from the ground, because the hole allows the air, the nourishment to go through, even though it's hanging up. But v'shein nokuv potu, let's say you have a plastic or whatever hard metal kind of flower pot that doesn't have any holes. It's really completely closed, unperforated hole. Then you picked from there. You potter. Why? It doesn't eat off the real ground of the world. The cherry tomato is only nourished, only grows in the otzitz, in the own miniature autonomy of the otzitz. And that's not called normal picking. It's not called normal koitzel. But now that obviously it's potu because it's similar. Rabbanon answered it. Well, the Maaseh, it's very strange because you're telling me that the fungi, to take it from the dli, that's called koitzel. The dli for sure is not part of the ground. You have a bucket in your laundry room, and there you have some fungi connected, and you're telling me that I'm chai because of koitzel? Doesn't make sense. It should be at least as bad as otzit she'en anokuv. The other reason I'll say later, but first of all, yeah, this is not connected to the ground. Something not connected to the ground. Answers the Gemara, over there, that's not the normal way of revise of its growth. When you want to grow cherry tomatoes or avocados or papaya or guava, whatever you want to grow, the ground is the normal place. The otzitz may be temporary, but that's not the normal way. It doesn't normally grow in an otzitz. It grows on the ground. And therefore, the ground Yeah, if it's not really connected to the ground in any shape or form, you're potter. The shaken here, that's Ravi saying. Where does that moss grow or that fungi? In the walls of the house, unfortunately, or in the dli. That's as normal as on the ground. The etzem pitria, the fungi grows wherever it has the conditions. It doesn't have to be from the ground. For carrot on the ground, it doesn't eat from the ground. It's shakol nebedvorim. It's not really a plant that grows from the ground. We know that. That's why we make shakol on the pitria, on the mushroom. And because for this kind of growth, the normal place is the bucket or the wall. If you clean your walls in Shabbos from fungi, you overcoat them because for that fungi, the normal place is the wall. And this is a double chiddush because really doesn't. It's not even something completely organic. It's not a vegetable or fruit that grows from the ground, and yet koitzer applies to it because it does need the ground, or it needs other places. That for that it's like it's ground. The ground for the carrot or the tomato, right, is equivalent to the bucket for the fungi. Ad kedei kach yuchayv on koitzer. Wow. And that's without being Yerushalmi. The Yerushalmi holds Bichlal, we said yesterday, even fish from the water, because of koitze. We don't go that far. But anything that grows on the ground or anything that's on the ground, even though it doesn't grow from it, but it needs the ground. The fungi needs the ground. Once you pick the pitria, the mushroom, it starts decaying. It doesn't need the ground to stay alive. That's good enough to call it koitze. That's a chiddush. And then it's koitza. Weiter. Chaya v'oif. What did we say? Chaya v'oif, they have skin. If you hunt them and if you bruise them, why you chaya? Because they have skin. Even though chicken, birds, all kinds of, fowl, what do they have? The skin is considered enough of a skin. Okay. It's not very thick, but the skin is considered halachically a skin. And if you hit, I don't know, a sparrow, I don't know, because you wanted to bruise it, you have. Okay. Halachas tefillin. Let's learn some halachas tefillin. Kois v'in tefillin al gabi or shalof tohar. You're allowed to write tefillin, yeah, and assume other stam. On the or, you can use all the cloth. On the or of an of tohar. If the of is tumah, you're not allowed to, because it says beficha min mutar beficha. But if the bird is tohar, a dove, a chicken, rooster, swan, these things are tohar, you're allowed to use the or for tefillin. Okay. Amav Yosef, Micah Mashmalan. What's a big chiddush? Why would have I thought otherwise? The Yisrael? Well, what are you coming to tell me, Ravuna? The bird's skin is considered the skin. I don't need you to tell me that. You're an Amora. I know it from the Mishnah. Tnina. We already know it in the Mishnah. Achav ben Chayev. Thank you. If in Shabbos and Chayev and Choyvel, because halacha recognizes that skin is skin, then the skin also applies to what? To tefillin and mezuzahs. It says you write it on skin. Here's skin. Kosher, kosher. What's the chiddush? Amar Abaye says about Rav Yosef, Tuva Kamash Malan. Rav Huna is telling us a lot of chidushim, or the level of chiddush is very high. He's definitely coming to tell us the chiddush. Why? Dimi Masnisin, had we only learned the Mishnah regarding Shabbos, Abamina, I would have still thought through their skin. I know that the skin is skin, and if you bruised it on Shabbos, you chayiv. But Shabbos and Stam are two different worlds. Stam has its own requirements. Why? Because the skin of the bird has many pores that are like lots of little, like spitzelach, a lot of little protrusions. Yeah, like it's more porous, like the chicken eaten Shabbos. It has all because of the noises, it has all the feathers, all the points of contact of the feathers. The little bit, it's uneven, it's rough. It's more rough because it has all these little spitzelach. So maybe it's not good for writing stam, right? I would say it's not good, right? Why? Right? She says, Siva tama veloy mushlemes. I'll tell you even more. Nikvi, according to Rashi, yeah, although there are two explanations, nikvi means because you have those spitzim, at the end of the day, what happens? They become small, tiny holes. At kedei kach. You have small holes in the chickens or whatever in the bird's skin, because that's the place where the feathers used to be, and obviously you unfeathered it, and therefore when you have very small holes, I would say you can't write Sefer Torah. It says ksiva tama. Ksiva tama means you have to have the letters written without a hole in the middle. Bereshis boro, in the middle of the base, you'll see some small holes. Sorry. Uchsav tom, ksiva tama. The ksiva has to be nice and whole and complete. So I don't care that it has a skin shmin. The mice it has holes, and those holes make it non-kosher because the letters will be perforated. Bereshis with holes, reish with holes. Yeah. So why is it really good? Mashmalan, mashmalan, the skin of the chicken of the oif is okay. Why? Kedami b'marovo, as they say in Eretz Yisrael, kol nekev shadyoy overes olav enu nekev. If the nekev, if the hole is so small that when you write, it's not noticeable. The dyoy passes on it, and the dyoy writes and basically colors it all in, and it's not noticeable. It's not visible. It's or very tiny that it doesn't. I saw today a very nice definition in the Dirsha, the quote of the Halacha. The kulmus, as you write the kulmus doesn't stop. The kulmus doesn't, it doesn't stop the movement of the kulmus. The quill, yeah, that you write with, it goes very smoothly. On the whole, it's not noticeable. It doesn't stop the movement of this, so it's okay. And some poskim hold that it fills in the hole. The hole is so tiny that the ink automatically fills it in. It's so unnoticeable that it's okay. But that's a chiddush. I wouldn't have known it from here. That the holes are so insignificant, you can write on them. Basically, now, frag the Gemara, a different nekuda. What did we say now? That the skin of the bird is considered the skin. Now, let's see halachos. We're going to challenge that from the Bryce. Rabbi Zera is challenging this. Yeah, it says in the Torah, "V'shisa oisa b'knofov." Right? We're talking about oilas sa'oif. When the person speaks oilas sa'oif, the truth is, yeah, the oil of the oif, the entire oif goes in a mizbeach, including the skin. Knofov here does mean wings. It means the fluff, like the small feathers of the dove, of the Torah ben Yoina, you bring to the mizbeach, and you don't have to flay the skin and remove it. By a behema, we all know who gets the skin, the koyanim, always in all kochikochim, right? Here we say no. Here we say you're allowed to, or supposed to, not just allowed to, just bring the whole korban oil of the oath on the mizbeach in the fire, including the skin. B'chnofav means together with all the skin and the leftover feathers. L'hachshir oil, to say that it's kosher, supposed to burn the or with the animal together with the bird. If you're telling me that the skin of the bird is really considered a separate unit called skin, how come the Torah allows us to bring it as a korban? In other words, his assumption was that if the Torah says you're allowed to be makriv, it means that it's not skin. In other words, we are so brainwashed with the idea that any korban, you can bring the skin to the mizbeach. It goes to the koyanim. So if the Torah says it can bring the skin of the bird to the mizbeach, it means we don't view it as skin. That's his plan. Mela, this doesn't work right according to what we say till now. No. Says Abai, no, it doesn't mean that. Oru, it's really skin. Enchinami, the skin of the animal, of the what's his name, of the skin of the no, of the no, of the bird. The skin of the bird is really or the Chmona and the Chmona said, Enchinami, you can bring it to the mizbeach, which means. Let me tell you a rule which applies b'chol hashas kula. B'chol Torah kula, yeah. Whenever the Torah tells me an exception to the rule, do we mean that we change the entire rule or just change this case? Let me explain. Mamish over here. And the Torah says you can't bring skin to the mizbeach. No way, I don't like skin on the mizbeach. And the chicken skin you can. What does it mean? Does it mean to say this is not skin? Or do you mean to say yes, it's skin, it's an exception to the rule? And that's what Abai says. It's skin. For Sefer Torah, skin. For Shabbos, Kabbalah, skin. What about Mizbech? Yes, it's called or. And the Torah said, this kind of skin I accept. Why? Because the Torah decided. Very good. Ikadamli. Some say that the discussion was the same thing, but just the other way around. Starting from the opposite direction. Omar Bizera. Afana Nami Tnina. Rabbi Zera actually is coming to support what we said that the skin of the bird is called skin. It says B'chnofov, same memra, same brisa, but supporting the concept that skin of a bird is called skin. As we said before, it's coming to tell me that the ore of the bird is considered as ore, and why? And you can bring it to the mizbech. If you're telling me that it's considered as ore, as a separate unit, and it's not part of the boso, it has its own name as O, which otherwise would be osir. If this was a cow, if this was sheep, if this was goat, it would be osir because it's real ore. Now we know why the Chumash, the Torah, needs to spend special word to include it. Although it's skin, although it's skin and skin is draped for the mizbeach, this skin is okay. It's only mamish the other way around from before. Only because it's called skin. But if you say that the skin of the bird is never considered or not for Shabbos, not for Kabbalah, not for Stam, if you say that the skin, by the way, if the skin of a creature is not skin, then what is it by default? Bosor, like we saw with the Shotzim. If you tell me that the skin of the bird is so insignificant, it's not called or, it's a part of the boso, why does the Torah have to spend a word to lerabuye, include it and say, yeah, you can bring the skin. It's not skin to begin with. Why do you need the Torah to tell me that? It's anyhow just another layer of flesh. And to this, Abaye also answers to this, really, I could have said, not for sure, I could have, you can't prove from here that it's or. Why? Could be really that it's not skin. I love or. If it's not skin, why does the Torah have to tell me that you can bring it? There's still a chiddush to tell me you can bring it and burn it on the mizbech. Why? It's not skin. I would have thought came and the isbe pirzi mois kamash malan. As we said before, the skin of the bird we assume has been already through the feathering stage. And because it has a lot of small holes, it's disgusting for the mizbeach. Not because it's cold skin, and we have our issues because we know that the skin of animals is always bad. Stam, whatever you call it skin, call it flesh. At the end of the day, it has all these tiny holes, and it's moist. It's not nice. It's not nice for the mizbeach. Kamash malan, that it's nice for the mizbeach. Kamash malan, you're allowed to bring it, no problem. Okay. Now let's talk about fish. Fish business. Tefillin al gabi or shel dag tohor. Oh, you have kosher fish, salmon, whatever, tilapia, you have kosher fish. Buri, are you allowed to carp? Can you write tefillin on the skin of a kosher fish? You're right, but we have to get there. Omerle, so he answered back. Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak answered, "Im Yov Eliyahu v'yoyma." If Eliyahu Novi will come and tell us, then we'll be able to write in the skin. I'm waiting for Eliyahu the Novi soon to come and tell us halacha. Back the Gemara, "My im Yov Eliyahu v'yoyma." Well, first of all, says Rashi, waiting for Eliyahu. Loi b'shamayni. Very, very famous Gemara, very big concept in Yiddishkeit, right? But Mitzvah Dafn Tessamud base. You don't pass him the bas home. We have to know halacha now. What the Eliyahu will tell me, I don't care. I'm sorry. Yeah. And anyway, what will he tell me anyways? Let's go with you. What will he tell me? Will Eliyahu tell me reality if the fish has or doesn't have skin? I mean, with all due respect, Eliyahu will tell us a lot of very, very questionable things. We're not going to waste his time to tell me if the fish has skin or not. Chazinan. We see that there is skin. There is something called skin here, and it has a layer called skin. Yeah. In other words, if you go mitzad the halacha, it's not passing halacha. You go mitzad mitzias and other mitzias on my own. What? Yeah. You have to understand. Elenovi will tell us two things: halachas, maybe like teach without kushubayas, and secondly, he'll tell us mitzias like mamzerim. Elenovi will tell us mamzer, not a mamzer, right? All kinds of realities. Mitzad the reality. I see the reality. Balabatishli, there is skin. You're asking me halachically if the skin is called skin or not? I'm not asking now. I want to know now. A paskin with besmedrash, so don't do all kinds of dreams and this and that, right? Yeah, my wife showed me. The lady said so she meant well. She says, "I listened to Rebbetzin and shares Ruach Hakodesh because she comes from a family of Ruach Hakodesh, like a family of Ruach Hakodesh, not family of Ruach Hakodesh. You have to go by halacha, by rav, by normal channels. You don't go all kinds of dreams. You don't pass on halacha like that. Even Yanovi, Kol she can lessen that. Yeah, the oid. And another thing, Atnan. And another claim I have against you, it says in the Mishnah, at somois hadag ve'oiroi, at silin ba'olameis. Let me explain. Let's say you have fish, the fish's bones and the fish's skin. If you made some kind of utensil from fish bones, I think the Eskimos do that. So now, whatever's inside is saved from tumah of oil mace. We have a concept that anything that does not receive tumah, not acceptable for tumah, also protects what's inside with oil mace. A guy died, lo leinu. The room is full of tumah. Now you have a box made out of fish bones and fish skin. They are not mekabel tumah. Yeah, they're not mekabel tumah because the Mishnah says, as for today, the Mishnah says in Kalim, Kol Shabayam Toharhu. Whatever is in the sea is never mekabel tumah. Either the bones or even a fish, the nevela of a fish can stink, excuse my language, to high heaven, but the dead fish is never nevela, right?
Anything from the sea, I'm sorry? Anything from the sea, like a whale or
Even a
shark?
whale, yes, yes. Even all the disgusting shrimps and all the things that goy eat and we don't, they are treif, but they're not metame. Anything under the sea has its own halacha. So now we see that basically, right, they're not mikabel tuma. Okay. So now, okay. So basically, these things, atoma sadak ve'oiroi, they never receive tuma, and they can also get what? They also don't get into it. The truth is that you see from the definition of the Mishnah, it says Atzomoi Sadag, fine. This is talking about Tumah V'Tara. It doesn't talk about writing Sefer Torah, but it does give us an answer. Why? Listen to the Lashon of the Mishnah. The bones of the fish and the skin of the fish. Let's say I have a whole bag made out of fish skin, whale, dolphin, whatever, trafe, and inside you have kalim. That bag is in a room of a mace. It's protecting from tumah. If the skin would be considered as nothing, as thin air, what is it protecting? We say, or hadag has its own set of halachos. So we see that fish does have skin. Not only see it with my eyes, I see that halachically it's recognized as separate unit, separate entity called skin, even to protect from tumah. And therefore, definitely it does have skin. And if it has skin, now the tumah ones, I don't know what you're going to ask, but I'm guessing. Mitzad tumah betara, the tumah ones, they are also protecting. Tefillin, you can't try it on the whale or the dolphin because they're not kosher. But we still see that fish conceptually have skin. So the carp and the salmon and the kosher ones should be okay for tefillin. Good two and two together. Does fish have skin? Yes. We see Mefurish Mishnais, right, left, and center in Kalim, that the fish skin has its own halachic entity. Aye, that's a whale and a dolphin. Good. So the kosher version, the salmon and the carp, right, writes Sefer Torah. Skin is skin. Kosher is kosher. Min hamutar beficha. Finished. What's the problem? Why not? We need Leonovi to come right away. That's no question. But that's not what we're going to ask him. We know it already. The church should be okay. And says the Gemara, Elas, what did you mean by Leonovi? Elam yovel yovel yomer iposka zuma minei. Now this is very, very interesting. Leonovi will tell us whether or not the zuhama already left the skin of the fish. What does it mean? There is a Gashmi's dikepshat and the Ruchnis dikepshat. The more Gashmi, more Stritvish pshat is what? Is that the fish skin, we know that it smells. Fish, go to the fishmonger, one place I wouldn't like to work, no offense, whatever, I love the fish people, but not, the kids it doesn't smell nice. Elionovi will tell us whether halachically it's considered as do we accept it halachically? It's still shver, right? Because we don't pass on halacha from Leonovi. But do we consider that the zuama stopped or didn't stop? When you process it, the fish skin, do we consider that it's still fishtunken? It's still bad or not? I don't know that this answer does with the fact it doesn't tell us halacha. Maybe that's Rashi, that's other Rishonim. Okay. Now the other pshat is that all the creatures, when Adam Arishon sinned, all the creatures they basically became tumah. The level went down, right? And therefore that brought down the entire bria, the entire creation. In Har Sinai, post Kazuama, it says for Bnei Soil, the Gemara says in the Zorah, our Zuama stopped when we received the Torah. Even after the Egel, we're still not as bad as we were before, right? It says it. And therefore, Yidden are in a higher level, and Goyim are less. The Goyim, they're still with the Zuama of Chava. It says the Nachash, when he had relations with Chava, he mashritz, he put in the Zuama in Chava. So human beings have a tumah. And also the animals became tumah because she gave all the animals also from the Eitzadas. So now the fish, yeah, in our Sinai, they did not receive the Torah. Now, because the fish are under the water, so there's a shaila whether the zuah must stop from the fish or not. In other words, the birds and the all kosher animals are good. Kosher animals are nice. Torah. Past Matan Torah, they're like Jewish people. Shanking the fish is a shaila whether in our Sinai the zuama, the dirt, the spiritual dirt, did it leave the fish or didn't leave the fish? Interesting. I don't understand these things because the fish were not in our Sinai; they were down below. They were underwater. But interesting. But they were affected by Chava. Maybe she gave them to eat. Maybe she threw it into the pond, into the sea. I don't know. These things I don't have. And Lamai said that pshat. There's a shaila whether the spiritual dirt left the fish in our Sinai or didn't leave them. The kosher ones even. So maybe they're not kosher and holy enough to have the Sefer Torah written in them. That's the best I can produce for this evening. Heilige Yonim. Weiter. Story time. Favorite story. Before we continue, let me tell you this story has like a twin story at the beginning of Sanhedrin. The Gemara Sanhedrin says that Rav was sent by himself, by Reb Chia, his uncle. Reb Chia was the uncle of Rav. He always gave him a lot of support, encouragement. He called him a beloved. So Reb Chia sent Rav to go to Eretz Yisrael and be mechazik Nitzibur. Ner Leilef, Ner Lagola, he had shlichus. Basically, he left Eretz Yisrael, Rav, in order to go to Bavel and be mechazik the Torah. And that's why he got smicha from Rebbe. Reb Chia arranged it, the Rebbe, Rabbi Yehuda Anossi, Rabbi Yehuda the Prince, as they call him, yeah? He gave smicha to Rav, and that's the source of the word of smicha, yoyer, yoyer, yodin, yodin. He told him that, yeah? Basically, so Rav went to Bavel, not Stam as a regular koilo guy. He went there to Bavel from Eretz Yisrael to do a big kiruv mission, chizuk HaTorah, to establish yeshivas in Bavel. You can see the first parak of Sanhedrin, Daf Feches, somewhere. So I remember the Daf. Yeah. Now comes the second part of this story. Shmuel and Kana, two Amoraim. Shmuel also lived in Eretz Yisrael, but he moved to Bavel years before. And Shmuel was in Nardo. Shmuel and Kana was another Amoira. Avoyatvi Aguda the Nahar Malka. They were sitting by the bank of the Nahar Malka, of the King River. Nahar Malka is I think it's the Euphrates or the other one of the big rivers. Yeah. Chazinu Lamaya the Kadalu Ba'achiri. They saw that the water, all of a sudden, the water of the river, they started becoming very wavy, like very stormy. Yeah, Dalu, without any storm, any wind, something supernatural. Yeah, there was all of a sudden like big waves. Yeah, were coming up, and Achiri. Strangely enough, also the water was very murky. There was a lot of murky water coming up. Something strange is happening here. It's Lamalam and Teva. Amel Shmuel Karna. Shmuel told Karna, Gava Rabba Kosim Arova. I know that there's a great person coming from Arova. There's a great person coming from Eretz Yisrael. V'chayish b'mei. And he has the stomach ache. He has stomach problems. How do I know that? The kadalu mayin lakvuli ape kamei, and the water are there to protect him. Rashi says he's probably in the boat and he needs to be excused. He needs the toilet, and the water is high and dark to create a mechitza around the boat. Interesting. That's how he. And why are they also murky? Because achur is painful. Achur also means like bad, painful. He's in pain. They're in pain. So either Shmuel got some kind of heads up, somebody's coming, he didn't know what, or was just because of the waves. Shmuel got this very clear notion that really a great person is coming, and he probably has some kind of stomachache. Hence, the water is becoming like a mechitza of the toilet. So now he's asking Karna, Zil, go, Taile Akankane, go and check him out. Smell his kettle, which means I want you to smell, I want you to know how great is that great person. Why did he want to know? Shmuel was a doctor, as it says in Bava, and Shmuel said, if this person is really great and suffering, I would invite him to my house and give him treatment for free. I'll treat him. Choshev Rav is coming, and I'm a doctor. If he's really great, he's worth me spending my time to heal him. I guess Shmuel didn't have time for any Tom, Dick, and Harry. If he's a real gadol, then he'll come to my house and I'll treat him. Ozal. So therefore, it's not Karna. Karna was sent by Shmuel to test Rav. Ozal Ashkechel Rav. Karna went and found Rav. I saw Rav already disembarked the boat, and it's true, Rav did have stomachache. Yeah. Omar Lay now started testing him. You're a great man coming from Eretz Israel. Let's see how great you are. He started forbearing him. First white line. Minayin shen koisvin tefillin el al gabe Be'emat Torah. How do you know that tefillin are only written on or Be'emat Torah? What's the source? Tefillin cannot be written on the skin of a chazir or skin of a horse. How do you know? Amalei, dichtiv, leman. Rav is passing the test now. Dichtiv, leman tiyatos Hashem beficha. It says the Torah in Tefillin, in the parsha of Tefillin, in fact, it says tiyatos Hashem beficha. The Torah of Hashem in your mouth. What does it mean? Mina mutar beficha. The Torah of Hashem, the stam, Tefillin, mezuzas. Whenever you write the Torah of Hashem, it should be beficha. It should be written on something that's mutar, that's allowed in your mouth. Question number 2. Minayin ladam shu odoin. How do you know that blood is red? Meaning, you may think the question is redundant. Well, it's dam nida. Nida, as we know in halacha, and in reality, she has all types of stuff coming out from that same place. Green, real green can come out. It says in halacha, and it's true in reality. Speak to people of Shimush, can have green, yellow. I don't know. Maybe Allah recognizes it as dam. Allah doesn't always go with science. Maybe anything that comes out, green, black, by the way, green, I don't know, blue, maybe, I don't know. How do you know the dam nida, which we consider halachically as dam nida, is only red? Yeah, by the way, it's true. It says there are 5 types of maris dam. One of them is black. Black is metame because dam nechar, it's red that became black. It blackened with time or with the process, right? Or pink or orange are derivatives of red. These are shilas. But something really, you have something blue coming out of the blue, then what? We say that's not considered as dam. How do you know? How do you know? Shnema, it says, it says in the Navi, the Moav, they saw the water, I think it's a war with Achad, if I'm not mistaken, they saw the water as red as blood. If the Torah says adumim kedam, the Navi, the Navi does not teach me halacha. Rabbi Osher Weiss is very not sure about it. We hardly ever learn halacha from Navi. We learn the reality many times from Navi. Yeah. In other words, I know not to touch nida from the Torah. How do you know blood is red? Red is blood. That is from the Navi. Teaches me a metzias, the object. Third question: Minayin lamila shaboisa makoim. How do you know mila should be done in the place where it's done? In the orla. How do you know? It doesn't say it anywhere. Check the entire lech lecha. Doesn't say evera. Nemakan. It says olosoi. It says olosoi regarding the fruit tree, right? In other words, you all know the orla. What's orla? The first 3 years, the fruit is orla. And it says orla by a baby boy, and orla by the fruit. Ma kesher, malalan dovo shoisepri, afkan dovo shoisepri. Just like the fruit creates fruit, so too bris milah should be done in the part of body that procreates. That's a connection. Frekt the Gemara or frekt Karna, emal liboy. Maybe you should make a small cut on the heart. In other words, if you learn orla, there are other places in the Torah where orla is mentioned, such as the heart. It says, umaltem elul, umaltem es orla slavavchem. Right. We're going to see it soon. Yeah, umaltem orla slavavchem. Yeah. You should do mila Orlas levavchem. No. So you do mila to the orla of the lathe, right? So what should you do? Orla, orla toy. Here it's the heart. So maybe the bris milah is supposed to do to the 8 days old of Avraham Avinu and onwards is the heart. Make a small cut near the heart. Yeah, cut a tiny bit near the heart. I think it will be less painful. Maybe that's a bris milah. Or another question, maybe you do a small cut incision in the baby's ear. Why? You're learning orla. Hine, it says, hine arela oznom, below yuchlo. It says the ear is arela. By the way, you know what it means? Orla means blocked. The heart is blocked. Now is the time to open it. The ear is blocked. The ear has like you have the foreskin. It's as if somebody doesn't want to listen to Musar. His oznaim arelos, his ozon is closed. He doesn't want to hear Torah. Hina arela oznom. So what do you see? You see that the word orla appears regarding other parts of the body. So how do you know it's dafka in the Rosh Gvia? And says the Gemara, I'll tell you why. It's a higher quality Gzerashava. Done in orlo soy tama, orlo soy tama. The end in orlo soy tama mi orlas shein tama. Orlo soy tama means the complete whole word. Yeah. In both places, the only place where it says orlo soy, just like in bris milah of the baby, it says orlo soy. The only other place where the entire word is written in its entirety is regarding the tree, orlo soy. The shank in the ear and the heart doesn't say orlo soy. It says orlas, and therefore we don't learn from there. We prefer the gezer shava to be symmetrical, and therefore, what is it? Orlo soy is where the tree is, i.e., where the baby can have other babies later. End of test. So Rav passed the test with flying colors. Omerle, now listen to this. Rav finished the test and is asking Kana, "My shimcha?" Kana. Your name is Kana. Omerle, Rav the tepuk Kana beine. I wish that Kana, you have some kind of like little keren, a little horn coming out of your eye. You should have like a little growth coming out of your eye. Rav cursed Kana. Wow. Why did he curse him? Chas v'sholem, Rav didn't have, no, not like people have power struggle in COVID, but Rav really felt he's coming to be mechazik the tzibur. They knew he was a great person. They didn't know how great, but they knew he was a great person. If they're testing him, it means they're not machshivim. So they're not machshiv Torah. They see a guy, how smart is he? Let's test him. Let's see how big he is. In other words, we see it also by the Litvish Gedolim of Yor many years ago. If they saw that the tzibur is not ready to receive Torah, any miladaber, nobody to talk to because they're mezalzel the Torah. So he felt he was hilzel the Torah. He thought they knew of him already. There was misunderstanding. He thought Rebbe is endorsing me, Rabbi is endorsing me. Maybe somebody sent a letter. They probably knew who I am and still testing me, knowing I'm Gadol and still testing me. The mezalzel b'Torah, the belittling Torah. So I have to curse him to show that I'm a hardliner. And not next thing they're gonna break the mechitza in shul. Like, yeah, they're not in right hashkafa. Continue the Gemara. Lesof Eilish Shmuel Lebeisei. Because he passed the test at the end, Shmuel brought him to his house in order to treat him well. Uchlin Hamad Desari the Kasad Alsana. He gave him to eat the bread made out of barley. Kasad Alsana is those fish that are covered, that are coated small fish. The Ashkish Shichra, and he let him drink beer. All these three things that cause a person for shilshul, that cause diarrhea. Idafka did not show him the toilet. In other words, he thought that the right medication as a doctor is to let him hold it all in, and then in one go, boom. When he finally goes, it will be all, everything will come out. That was the method, to contain it all in, and then boom, out. So that's why Shmuel did it, but Rav was mitztayer. Rav was in pain. Layat Rav. Rav cursed Shmuel. Second curse for the day. V'omar, he said, Man mitzaran, v'luk melebani. Whoever causes me sar, whoever causes me discomfort, will not have sons. V'chenava. Shmuel had daughters, but no sons. If you read other Gemaras in Bava Metzia and otherwise, we see that Rav regretted it his whole life, and Rav always gave Shmuel a lot of kavod. Even though Rav in many areas was greater, but Rav always gave Shmuel extra kavod because he realized, I cursed him and I shouldn't have, because he really meant well. Rav thought it's a hemshach of the same halach that they're not mechabedim because they're mezalzel. Kilu, this guy can't, this guy, Israel, he's coming with all these chumras, He thought that their mindset was kilu mezalzel in Torah. But Lamais, at the end of the day, regretted it, and the whole time was mechabed Rav very much. But the curse did happen because curses happen even by mistake. So he only has girls and no boys. We should only have brochas for our boys and our sons. Thank you very much for being nice to me and allowing me now to finish all Omuds. You're good like that? Shkoyach, you guys are tzaddikim, yeah? More time, more relaxed, more, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's all. Thank you very much. Thank you.